Hello everyone, today I have a great pleasure to introduce our new member, Geysel Minoso. She is a Cuban abstract artist based in Canada. Hi Geysel, it's a great pleasure to have you in our show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm very excited. I'm nervous, but I'm good.
We are organizing this interview for some time, and it's very exciting to follow you on different channels you are using. So please share a little bit more about like what brought you to Canada, and when did you start with your artwork, and how was that journey for you?
Well, I came to Canada in 2008. That was a long time ago. I came with my husband back then, no husband anymore today. So it was very challenging. I didn't speak the language, and I was 24 back then. And in Cuba, when you are 24, you have a mind of a 35 years old person because you are learning a lot from the street. You're always on the hand. You're always doing, things just to a survival mode. So when you come here to Canada at 24 years old, it's like you starting your life now. You still going to university. You still going to school. You haven't left sometimes your parents' home. So it was quite different for me because in Cuba, we all live together till we die. Like there is no, okay, I'm gonna get an apartment and study from there. So it was quite challenging for me just to come from a small island to a big, huge country, and with a different rights, different freedom, different laws, different everything. Cuba has a very interesting system, so how everybody know. So I came with the mind of like being a happy wife and learning new opportunities in my life. So the years were passing by, and 6 months after I arrived to Canada, I say I want to go back home. I can do
Mhm.
this. I don't want to be here anymore. I cannot even speak the language. I'm at restaurants, at business meetings, and I cannot understand what people are saying. I'm here just drinking wine and getting numb. So not only that, everything was big. The cars were big, the buildings were big, the people were big. Everything it was huge. It was just like it was from coming to a small little island to a fantasy, crazy. It was pretty challenging. The language was the thing that really, really put me down many days. I cry every day. I want to go back home till someone encouraged me to go to college and study the language. So that did a big turn in my life. It changed everything. I studied business of aesthetic, and that's what brought me to the beauty industry. And I started working in salons, performing waxings and facials and massage all in one package. And life was getting amazing. I was enjoying that. And unfortunately, my marriage is starting to go the wrong way. In 2015, I started to paint on my early 30s, like on my late 20s. I started to paint because I was feeling so lonely and devastated, sad. I was crying every day. My marriage was a disaster. I was depressed because the weather was too cold for me. I missed the beach. I have like homesick, missing my family, my brothers. I have a big family. So all of that brought me to who I am today. I've grown so much through everything I went through the past 10 years of my life. From Cuba to coming to Canada to failing in marriage to recovering marriage again and to building myself as a whole person. And here I am. I'm still fighting those shadows in my happiness on my previous years of. So I started to paint, and that really changed everything for me because I was in my own world. I was in that bubble that nobody can touch me. And it felt great, and it still feels great today. Like growing into the artist industry is, first of all, is a huge competition. It's a big world out there of artists. It can be either from performing, um, metal to statues to like painting big, small. It doesn't matter what it is. You can be painting a house. You still an artist. So I find that very challenge trying to be always on the top of the best, but at the same time trying to keep up with being cool, neutral, yourself, not someone else.
So at that time, when you started to realize that you want to create something, maybe first for yourself and deal with the loneliness on the challenges you had at that time, was that trigger for you, which actually make you who are you today?
So I made my first painting. It was to me was like, wow, it's so beautiful. But at the same time, I was like, I don't think nobody will like it because first of all, I didn't know anything about colors. I didn't know. I didn't go to school. I
Yeah.
taught myself just like watching YouTube videos and looking at all the artists and like the big guys. I made this painting. It was actually large. I start painting on. I always painted on large format,
Mhm.
so it had been always big paintings for me. And I made it for someone very special, for their birthday. So I wrap it and everything. I put a bow, and I was so happy. I signed it. I was like so excited. So when that person opened that painting in the middle of a dinner of like 14 people, I was like, oh my God, I was like shaking. He's like, this is going to go wrong. It's going to be like, what's this? He thought that I bought it somewhere else. He didn't believe me that I painted. So that to me was like, what? Oh, this is
Mhm.
cool. So people are like, so he likes it because a very, he was a very educated person. He was a great father. He was just a great grandfather. He just was a great person. Was like, this is something from my first marriage. So I realized there in that moment that I can do more. I can do more, and I set myself that challenge to try bigger, and the ambition just grow inside me. I'm like, I want to do more, and let's see. So from that day I was painting so much that I was going to work and using my paychecks to buy art supplies and paint. I was taking the bus. I wasn't driving back then. I was taking the bus full of canvases and bags, and it was like a 10 minutes bus drive, so it was very uncomfortable. So
Mhm.
I went through a lot to realize that it's something that I love, and I started to post on Instagram, and I get a lot of comments and a lot of like people from work were like, "Oh my God, I love you painting. This is awesome." And from there, I decided I want to do my first solo exhibition, and that's when everything started. I just needed to do it. I didn't know that I had it in me. Like my brother and my uncles, they
Mhm.
are artists themselves. They're more into the
Okay.
realism part. So I don't know. It just came out. First of all, everything how I mentioned before, everything started because I was sharing my unhappy life to my clients at work. Just one person told me, "Why don't you try painting?" I'm like, huh? Painting? No. And she keeps repeating this to me every 4 weeks. Every time she was coming, she was telling me, you should go to dollar store and get a pencil and a pad and start drawing. It's going to help you with like freeing your mind. Like you are very full of like happiness. That might help you. Like I know someone. So she told me all that story and like, okay, one day I did not go to dollar store. I actually spent $2,000 Canadian in an
Mhm.
art store, and I bought supplies that I still have today. Today, like 6, 7 years later, I still have supply, which is amazing.
I saw on your one of your websites that you actually try to catch the movement of life, and sometimes it's very chaotic, and sometimes is things happen, and then you can express it in your abstract artwork. So how that works for you today, because this is something you are living from today, and you cannot be always like in that kind of mood that you are waiting that something happen from outside that you get inspiration. So how was that journey for you, that you realize, okay, this is not only my hobby or my way of creativity, but also something which I'm gonna live from.
Well, Edward, I would say it started last September.
Hmm.
Last September was the decision that I made. It was the biggest decision of my life. It was very scary. I decided to become a full-time artist and quit my full-time job, 9 to 5 p.m. job. So before I did that, I already thought about this many, many months. Okay. I was debating on like how happy I am with this job that I'm doing now. Dealing every day with the customer service and the unhappiness of others, plus my I am a very okay. I am a very happy person. I'm always smiling. Every room that I get into, like it brights. Like I'm always like either too loud or too like. You will know right away when I am sad or something is wrong with me because I'm always spicy, right? I always like on the go. So I started to feel very unhappy. I didn't want to go to work anymore. I had too much going on. It was too much stress. So I was painting on my days off, which is Monday and Tuesday. But at the same time, I had to take care of the house. I had to take care of my dogs and my cats, and I had to, live life. But at the same time, play around with some of my hobbies just to escape. So I didn't have enough time for that anymore. I was painting more, and I was going more toward the painting and the feel of like creating something than going to work to make someone happy with a little creation service that I provide for them. So during pandemic, that's when it really that little artist voice inside me was telling me, okay, I think it's time for you to close this door and open this one, because you have been so involved. So like I wake up thinking about designs. I wake up thinking about colors. If I watch a movie and I see a background, I take those color out and I put it in my head, and then the next day I wake up and say, I have to execute this. So I have to put this on a piece of paper or on canvas. So I do that. So it's part of the process of like trying to achieve a style or something. So I decide September 2022, I decided to become a full-time artist. And here I am 6 months later, feeling better than 3 months ago, for sure.
That's amazing, and your show is already have been in a different location, is downtown Toronto and some other location in Canada. So it's not only you that recognize that it's time to shift from maybe be part-time to full-time artist. So tell me a little bit more about the projects you are now working currently, and maybe the projects which are coming in the near future.
So yeah, I just finished doing a solo art show exhibition here in Hamilton. It was about, the name was called Be Calm. And the reason why I named it Be Calm is because you can have a chaotic life, but you will always find, this is a perfect example. You can go to the store right now, to Costco, I don't know, and be super angry with someone because you're not having a good morning. When you go behind the wheel, you're calm. You're gonna drive crazy. Some people can actually achieve that, unfortunately. But 99% of human beings, when they go back to behind a responsibility, they achieve everything, because you have to tell yourself, we have to put this aside and focus on the destination. So Be Calm represent the vivid colors of that happy and bright soul that I am. But some of the paintings have a little bit of shadow, which you have to learn how to live with it. So they are together. You can be calm with a chaotic world. So I did that show and it went amazing. A lot. It's still up. The paintings is still up. And after I finished this project, right now I have like 2 weeks of like the process of like figure out your next move. So I came up with the idea of like really telling everybody the story from beginning to end in a human form, and that's what this she doesn't have a name, but I'm using mannequins as represent myself with art. So what I'm gonna do next project is gonna be, I'm gonna make my own little human form growing up. So I'm gonna do 3 stages. she is obviously the biggest of me. So it's going to be a small me growing to adolescent me and then an adult me. So we are going to see all of that in clothings that I'm going to make with canvas. So my paintings are going to be cut and sewn into a dress, or I'm going to put a pair of like broken shoes and very dirty clothing that it represents me going to school most day, because back in the day we didn't have money to buy soap and wash the clothes to go to school. So it's a little bit of everything and who I became. So all that's going to be represented with paintings and creations and human forms and small little projects here and there. And yeah, I'm very excited. It's going to be next year, obviously. I have a lot of things to work with, and I want to use different textures. I want to use metal. I want to use materials. I want to use... I'm excited. It's going to be great.
Congratulations on the new project. And what is the feedback of the people who are now working closely with you? Maybe you can also share the people who maybe saw your artwork and maybe bought your artwork. What is the impression for them? Like what they see when they're looking into your art?
So they feel very warm. They feel happiness. I actually performed a live painting while the show was on. So I was painting for 1 hour and 45 minutes. And unfortunately, I was recorded, but didn't work well. It was too dark, the area that I was painting. But people were passing by and saying like, wow, this is so good. And all of these, your paintings, they're so beautiful. And some people will stop and say, how did you make this texture? This makes me so happy. So in general, I think what I let the audience know is like, you can be happy no matter what situation you can be at. So they were very warm just looking at my paintings. They were very happy, and they were all very together with me, watching me paint. It was just a great vibe.
And for all people who might be curious about your work, I already shared that you have a Instagram profile. I also saw that you have your YouTube channel. What other channels you are using, and how people actually can buy your artwork?
So I am okay. So Instagram has been my biggest audience so far, but something is switching. So I have my audience on YouTube is growing as well. So it's a bigger audience. I don't know why, but the engagement and the comments and the likes and are much better than Instagram. I'm not saying anything wrong about Instagram, just different platforms and what works better for artists. You can find my work on my website. You can find my work. I had 2 locations. I have downtown Hamilton, and the other one is on Westdale, Hamilton, here in Canada. I have been working with one of the stores for 2 years now. I have been switching paintings every 4 months, so I don't have to move so much. I don't have to be like on the hand for so much. I can actually relax and paint in my studio and create and just switch back and forth. But you can find my art mostly on my website. Right now, my website is under construction. We are making things better and making better moves, so to attract the audience, for the audience to be more comfortable to scroll to my work through a website.
Well, here's a conversation on all achievements you already made in this period of time, and I really encourage all people who wants to get know more about you to visit your channels and to be inspired with your work. And my last question is: do you have any plan for the future to maybe go back to Cuba sometimes and also do some artwork there? And what are your kind of long-term goals?
So I have a big plan. I would not say this is something that is reachable right away, but in the upcoming 5 years, I have plan of having my own gallery. So I want to have my own gallery. I teach. I share my techniques with workshops. So I have workshops every month, twice a month, and I have a very great crowd. They love my techniques, they love my personality. So it's something that I want to put together as a gallery that has a studio in action. So you're going to be passing by the street and you're going to see me painting on the window. So when you go to a mall and it's like, I don't feel like spending money, but I'm going window shopping. So when you go downtown, whatever location this gallery might be in between these 5 years coming up, you're going to see me painting. You're going to see me creating on that window. And then that's going to be the store. So in that gallery store is going to be a workshop as well. So I'm going to bring all of my work that is all around, everywhere. I'm going to put it in one place. So that is my goal. That's what I'm trying to achieve. But it has been only 6 months and things are moving slowly, which is totally fine. I do appreciate the support of everybody. It has been great. Big support from my family, big support from my husband. He has been number one with everything. Yeah, so I have a lot of things coming up. It's just I don't want to rush things, because when, as an artist, if you rush your job, you disconnect from it. So if you are trying to create a piece and then you are like from behind your mind, oh my God, this piece has to be done by tomorrow because I'm gonna pay. So it's gonna sell. So this person wants. It's totally different from creating a commission. A commission has a relationship with the client. As when you have a deadline, you disconnect with the project. So I don't want to do that. I have been rushing through 6 months like crazy. So I started to slow down and look back my older jobs and my older exhibitions and who is my audience, trying to recognize and connect more with myself. So that's the plan for the future for sure.
Thank you for sharing that, Geysel, and I wish you all the best. We will definitely support you from our small community. And for all of you guys who enjoyed this video, please follow Geysel on her YouTube and Instagram channel. Check her website. Thank you, Geysel. It was a great pleasure to get to know you better, and looking forward to see your progress. And as you said, don't rush. At the same time, I'm quite sure that you are very creative and that we will enjoy your artwork moving forward as well as is now. Thank you so much.
Also, Ecuador, thank you so much for having me.